All right, we are recording. For those of you guys who don't know me and you're just randomly following me on Facebook, my name is Kate Jaramillo, and I am living the ketogenic lifestyle. I'm a master fitness trainer and a mom of girls. And with me today, I am so super excited to have my friend Kellie Foster, who I met on Instagram because she was one of the first people that I started following when I became interested in ketogenic living. She has a lot of followers at this point, and she has an amazing, amazing story. Kellie is a Canadian, eh? So for those of you who are snowed in, trust me, she knows your struggle.
Yep.
Kellie has lost a total of like 95 pounds following a ketogenic lifestyle. She's going to talk about that today and where her life is now that she's done losing weight. So, Kellie, I'm so excited that you're here with me today. Thank you so much for joining me. I know everybody wants to hear from you, for sure. So, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep, for sure. So, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. I guess just to, make this focused on the keto diet. So I'm 25 years old. I just turned 25, feeling a little bit old. I've been following the ketogenic diet since August of 2015. And like you mentioned, I lost about 95 pounds, and now I actually finished losing all the weight I wanted to lose, and I'm carrying on with keto because it's been so great to me. I'm using keto now to bulk and put on weight because I was looking a little skinny, so I needed to put on some muscle.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that you said that because everybody just thinks of keto as like almost like a magic pill for weight loss. And there are just, as you know, and you're going to talk about, so many other benefits, and now using it to gain muscle. Like, that is amazing. What got you started on keto? How did you even find it?
I had actually, because really I struggled with my weight my whole entire life. I was always trying different diets. I've probably tried just about everything, every popular diet that they have out there. So when in May of 2015, I moved to the Toronto area to start a 16-month internship because I study engineering, so it's common that you'll leave school and go work for a while. So I started an internship in the nuclear industry, and I just thought, this is my time. I'm only going to be working an 8 to 3:30 job. I don't have the excuse of being too busy with school anymore. But I'm going to do something different. I'm going to, try something else. So I decided to start CrossFit. So I started with CrossFit, and that was great. And I started off just, eating healthier and just trying to, just be mindful of what I was eating. But that only worked for so long. So I did lose weight that way. But I've just never really been the type that can just eat healthy and keep losing weight. So then my coach there, he asked me if I had ever heard of the ketogenic diet. And I had, because I'm very active on Reddit, and Reddit has a big keto community. But I'd heard of it, and I was like, yeah, I've heard of that. I could never do that. You can't even eat fruit. There's no way. I could never do that. But because of the kind of person that I am, if someone tells me to try something or to do something, I'll accept the challenge,
Yeah.
So I started, and I said, I'll do it for 30 days, see how it goes. And then I'll, reevaluate after the 30 days. So 30 days came and went, and now I'm going on, over a year and a half strong, and I just never stopped.
Oh, I love that. And I'm sure it probably sounded crazy to you because like you said, you've tried all these diets with low calorie and clean eating and now they're like, just eat fat.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of the ketogenic diet, right? Because it doesn't feel like some horrible diet like a lot of the other things that I tried, because I get to, although you do cut out a lot of things, you get to reintroduce things that you've always thought of as bad or unhealthy, like bacon and butter and steak. And it's so satisfying. It doesn't feel like you're dieting.
Yeah. Now, did you start counting macros right away? Is that how?
So because I was quite overweight when I started, I just started off with what they like to call lazy keto, which is where you just keep track of your carbs. So I took my carbs to start off with, and I continued to lose weight for, I think, probably 6 months, just monitoring my carbs and of course eating mindfully. I wasn't just, gorging myself with fats, but eating mindfully on foods that fit the keto diet. And I was also exercising 4 to 5 days a week. So that definitely helped too. But eventually I did see that I wasn't losing weight anymore without tracking. So that was when I decided to start tracking everything.
Okay. Yeah. And that's such a good point because so many people plateau and then they quit. And what was your experience there? You stopped kind of losing at around 6 months. Did you gain at all?
Yeah, I don't think I really gained nothing significant anyway. But I just, as soon as the scale stopped moving, and it was a significant amount of time. It was more than just a week or a couple weeks. I knew
Mhm.
that because once you reach a certain point, right? Like as you lose weight, your body burns less calories on its own.
Right.
So then, not for everyone, but for many people, there will come a time where it'll help them to actually start tracking all of their macros. But honestly, some people, they never have to do that because they're just very good at listening to their body cues. I'm not one of those people. So for me, macro tracking keeps me completely aligned. Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned working out 4 to 5 times a week. So keto did not zap your energy since everybody thinks that you need carbs to work out and carbs for fuel.
And even now, because then I was doing CrossFit, which was, a big blend of cardio and lifting and all kinds of things. And now I just do straight up lifting 6 days a week. And I never feel like I don't have enough energy. If anything, I feel really, really energized. And I also work out fasted. I think that's another common
Mhm.
misconception that you can't, work out if you haven't eaten anything.
Yep, exactly. And you feel better when you work out without anything in your stomach. There's no like acid
Yeah.
reflux or anything like that. Absolutely. Are you still tracking right now, even though you've lost your weight and you're working on gains?
Yeah, because gains, if anything, is actually a little bit more complicated than losing because you have to eat so much. And I never thought I would say this, like, it's actually hard to eat enough. Because when I was losing, I was eating probably about 1,500 to 1,600 calories a day. And now
Mm-hmm.
I eat like 2,300. And some days it's like, oh my gosh, I can't eat another bite. I know some people are probably going to be like, oh, poor you. But it's just, I think that tracking, it's just a good way of me keeping myself completely aligned. I just do well with a more rigorous and rigid plan to follow.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think you track until you understand your body a little bit more too. And you
Yeah,
can, like you said, like listen to those body cues if you don't feel like tracking.
yeah,
Have you
exactly.
ever gone off of keto?
Yeah, so my sort of philosophy with keto is that I love it and it's something I'm going to do forever, but it's also not a prison. So what I do is that when I travel out of country,
Mm-hmm.
I go off of keto, and I don't use it as some sort of free pass to just go absolutely insane and eat all the carbs. But if I'm traveling to a different country, I want to experience food as part of the culture. To me, that's important.
Yes.
So in my year and a half of keto, I've done that twice.
Uh-huh.
Once I went to New York for 4 days and I wanted to, eat pizza and bagels. So
Yeah.
I did. And then last summer, I went to the Dominican Republic to an all-inclusive resort.
Nice.
And I wanted to relax on my diet while I was there, and I did. And both times when I came home, I just went directly back to my macros and exactly what I was doing before. I didn't try to ease back in or anything, just back home,
Yep.
right back on track. And if anything, I think it helps me because I don't associate being at home with carbs because it's a vacation thing. It makes it really easy to just always be on track when I'm at home because there's no option to eat carbs. It's not a part of my mindset here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally love that because my husband and I are traveling to London, Brussels, or not Brussels, Bruges, Belgium, and Prague this September. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to
Yeah.
eat like French fries and drink beer and, everything else. And I know that coming right back home, I can get right back into it because like you said, you have the knowledge, you have the experience, and you feel good. Like you just
That,
feel good.
yeah. And some people can do well with incorporating some sort of schedule with, days where they have cheat days
Mhm.
or whatever. And I think that's just one of the most important things of keto is that everybody does it a little bit differently, and finding the way to do it that works for you in the long term, that's going to
Yeah.
make you successful in the long term. And that's exactly what I've done.
Oh my God, that is so refreshing to say. And guys, I did not tell her to say this, by the way. Like, this is just because that's exactly what I believe. I think that you find what works best for you, and then you're able to always just come back to this because it truly is the healthiest thing that you can do for your body, the
Yeah.
most satiating way to eat. And I mean, you just feel good. You just feel good. I think that weight loss is kind of like an added benefit of
Yeah.
all of the other amazing things that you get to feel.
Yeah.
Do you do any intermittent fasting?
When I was losing weight, I did, because in my opinion, intermittent fasting is one of the absolute best sidekicks to keto when you're trying to lose weight. I now, because I did in the beginning when I started my bulk, but like I said, I was having trouble eating enough. So incorporating fasting into that, which sort of just zaps your appetite, it was impossible. But for losing weight, it's fantastic. I can't recommend it enough.
How long was your longest fast, or how long did you normally fast for?
So I would fast every day. I would do the typical 16-8 schedule. So I would fast for 16 hours, and then I would eat between 12 and 8. But then sometimes I did do just a longer fast, because I had heard that there were benefits to that. Like it gives your body a chance to sort of detox. So I think one time the longest fast I ever did was 40 hours.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. Were you hungry during that time, or were you just like not hungry?
I think I had one hunger spell during the entire 40 hours, and it lasted like 10 minutes. I couldn't believe it. By the end of the 40 hours, I was like, okay, I guess I'll eat now. It's been 40.
Were you just drinking water? Were you drinking any like bulletproof coffee or anything in the meantime?
I was drinking any non-caloric beverages.
Okay, awesome. Do you take any supplements at all? I mean, like you and I are both targeted a lot, I think, on Instagram and other things for product promotion and things like that, which is nice. It's nice that they approach you. But do you take any supplements or anything like that?
I do. So obviously, like if anybody's suffering from keto flu, or even if you're not, like the most important things that you absolutely need to supplement on keto are sodium, magnesium, and potassium. So every day I'm all over that. And especially if you're super active, I find that the more active I am, the more I need. Actually, I should take that back, because you don't necessarily need to supplement them, because some people get sufficient amounts of them just from the food that they eat. But for me, I don't know how my body processes electrolytes so fast, but I'm supplementing like 6-7 grams of sodium every day, or else I get crazy lightheaded. Potassium, I take probably about 5 grams a day, because if not, I just get crazy muscle cramps. Everyone's different, but those 3 are definitely the most important. And then on top of that, I take creatine every day. That's mostly just for my lifting. But C, vitamin D, B12, and calcium.
Okay.
All the ones.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good to know. And then, so your body has obviously changed. Like it's been changing over the past like year and some change. And you've been very open, and it's so amazing. Like you have been very open about your struggles in the past with an eating disorder. And I think for especially women, like almost every single one of us has some sort of issue with food or body image or something like that. So would you mind just sharing a little bit more about your experience and how your body image has changed?
Definitely. So the reason that I'm so open about that is because I'm just so passionate about eliminating the stigma surrounding mental health issues. Because one thing that I've heard people compare it to is nobody is afraid to call into work if they're sick. Nobody's afraid to talk about if they're feeling physically sick, right? So why, if we're feeling a little bit sick or unwell mentally, is it so bad to talk about? Why is it, why is there a stigma surrounding that? There really should be. And what I found is that actually speaking about these things is so cleansing. And talking about it is just one of the best things you can do to actually help yourself feel better and to sort of accept what's going on. So for me, like I said, I did tons of diets before I started keto. And in my second year of university, so, on top of the dieting, I had a lot of stress outside of my body image issues. And I decided to start a diet because I was the heaviest I had ever been in my life. I got up to 240 pounds. And I can't even, fathom just how much I hated myself at that point in my life. I couldn't even look in the mirror for the most part, because every time I did it, just, it was heartbreaking almost to see myself, and nobody wants to feel that way. So I went on an extremely intense diet where I was tracking calories. I was eating very low carb, but I was also eating very low fat. That's a recipe for disaster. That is the least satisfying way you could possibly eat. So I was eating extremely little, and I was exercising a lot, mostly just cardio. And I just started having these little tendencies to binge. And when I say binge, I mean like, it wouldn't just be like, eating a whole sleeve of crackers or something. It would be like these 15 to 20 minute periods where I would just eat until I physically could not eat any. Like I would eat like 5 slices of toast with Nutella, like 6 bowls of cereal, granola bars. And the common theme here is that it was always carbs that I was binging on.
Mm-hmm.
Restricting myself from them and from fats, that was what I would end up craving. So I would just go absolutely crazy on them. And then by the end of the binge, it's just the way that you feel about yourself it's horrible. I can't even, I can't imagine the way that I thought about myself and felt about myself then. I would just hate myself so much, and I would be so full that I would just have to lay in my bed, and I would literally just lay in my bed and cry. It was absolutely horrible, and I'm so happy that I'm past that now.
Yeah. And it truly is just like a journey, I feel like, of coming to terms with how your body looks too, because we all have parking spaces, and you know what I mean? And like, they're different for everybody else. And I feel like you can certainly train a certain way, but there's places that you're going to gain it first and you're going to lose it last.
Yep. For me, my boobs and butt just pieced right out when I lost all the weight.
Same here. And after breastfeeding for so long, I've got like little flaps of skin. It's terrible.
Yeah. But you know what? I would rather be healthy and feel the way I do about myself than have the curves that I had when I was much bigger. So
totally.
Also, so sort of what I led to there was that because I was eating low carb and low fat, it led to my binge eating tendency. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I started keto and I took away the carbs, but I added in all of those fats, I never had the urge to binge again. It was, for me, it really did feel like this magic diet that just saved me from what could have been something so horrible had I not found a way to stop it.
Yeah. And like you said, it doesn't have to be so restrictive, because we know that ketogenic food is delicious. Yeah. And there are so many ways to eat something sweet, but without the sugar, the processed sugar that we know causes so many issues with people. And there's still, I mean, obviously there are so many haters on the keto lifestyle. We get a lot of them on Instagram that will be like, oh, you're saturated fat, you're just like clogging up your heart and you're going to die. And, what do you want to say to them?
Well, let me tell you that because I wanted to make sure that I was supplementing properly and that my body was actually healthy on the inside. So after keto for about a year, I went and had like full blood work done. They looked at everything, and my doctor looked at my results and he said, "You have the best cholesterol levels I've ever seen in my entire career." And he's like a dinosaur. He is so old. Like he's still people, he's seen a lot of blood work. So I have never been healthier in my entire life than I am now, eating butter and cheese and steak every single day.
Yeah, I love that. And what was kind of like a daily menu for you before, when you were trying to lose weight, versus now when you're on the gain schedule?
I think that the difference between that is really just the volume of food that I was eating, because I found that the intermittent fasting, since it really takes away your appetite, it makes it a lot easier. And now I just eat more of the same things, basically. But a typical day for me when I was cutting would be, I would wake up in the morning, I would have a cup of coffee with just about half a tablespoon of cream, because I don't go over 25 calories. Because, I mean, there's a lot of debate out there about what breaks your fast and what doesn't. So I went with the 25 calorie limit. So I would have that, and then I would eat my first meal at 12, and it would usually be some sort of protein like chicken or steak and a lot of vegetables. And I would sort of eat snacks on the side, because since I don't really snack between my meals, so I sort of have them as part of my meal, like pork proteins. Sugar-free Jell-O is really good for when you're trying to lose weight if you need something. So I would have that around 12, and then I wouldn't eat again until like about 7:30 p.m. And it would be something similar, because I really just ate like 2 dinner type meals, basically.
Yeah. And now you're just kind of eating more of those same things.
Now it's just
more protein now.
Yeah, lots of protein.
And you're like happy there.
It's great. I'm actually starting another cut on April 1st because getting to Greece in May, and I'm like, I really want to look lean in my bikini, so I'm going to try to lose just a couple of pounds before I go.
That's exciting. You'll be in a great place for a lot of fresh seafood and other delicious things. And like you said, like you're going to go and you're going to enjoy the culture,
Yep.
and then you're going to come back and do the same thing. Have you ever done one of the fat fasts, like an egg fat fast or anything like that?
I haven't, and honestly, I don't really. It's not that I think they're a bad thing, but I don't necessarily think that they're necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fat fast, all they're doing is enforcing a calorie deficit. So in my opinion, you can get the exact same results by just tracking your calories.
Yeah.
And eating the things that you actually want to eat rather than being restricted to particular foods. And I think the same about egg fasts.
Right. Because like you said, then that is like a diet. That is truly like a diet, and diets don't work. So what is your school of thought on net carbs versus total carbs, which people should track?
I have always done net carbs, always.
Me too.
I think that's what your body is actually processing. So I really don't think it's necessary to count total carbs.
I completely agree with you. And I almost feel that total carbs would be too restrictive. I mean, I think that that's kind of where you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble by not eating enough.
Yeah.
And I know, the people that really kind of like, they're like, no, it's total carbs. And then you just eat more fat, like spoonfuls of coconut oil. And I mean, I like coconut oil, but who wants to do that?
Not me. And I love vegetables. I eat a ton of vegetables. So if I was counting total carbs, I would just not survive.
And thank you. Like people, I think, believe that you can't have vegetables because vegetables are, too high in carbs or something like that. And they believe that you can never have fruit again. And, and that's not true either.
And the way that I follow keto is really, I do sort of like an if it fits your macro style of keto. Or if I can fit something into my carb limit for the day, and maybe I'll have to eat a little bit less of something else to make up for it, I'll eat it. Like I don't, there's nothing that I say I can't have that. If I wanted to, I could have one bite of bread for my total carb count for the day. Of course, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, if you want to eat berries, I think personally, I don't, because I would rather eat, like 3 times the volume of broccoli compared to, but if you can fit it into your macros, you can eat it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are some of the tips that you want to give somebody who is just starting out and is feeling overwhelmed?
Just starting out, I would say don't track your macros except for carbs. That's the biggest thing, because first of all, starting a diet is already hard enough on its own. You're making all of these changes. Your body's adjusting. You're going to be feeling a little bit different. Don't make it harder on yourself by trying to stick to these really specific numbers and limits. Give yourself, your mind, and your body some time to adjust. That's my first tip. And the second one is supplement electrolytes. Listen to your body. If you're feeling unwell, then you're just missing something. Keto does not make you sick. You make yourself sick if you don't supplement properly when you start keto.
Exactly. And you guys, it's not the salt that's causing hypertension. It's all of the sugar that you're eating and the carbs that are turning out into glucose that are hurting you.
Yeah.
That's right. So Kellie, where can people find you? Because I know everyone's going to want to continue following you and finding your vlog. And you're such an amazing resource.
Thank you. So I'm on Instagram. It's at Kellie_keto. That's KELLIE. And I'm also on YouTube. I'm Kellie Foster on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording and thank you privately. So thank you again so much for your time today and for your amazing knowledge and being an awesome ketonian lady and really getting real with all of our body image discussions. So thank you so much.
I just have one more thing to say to anybody watching. If there's anybody watching who is just thinking about starting keto and you don't know if you should do it and you're scared, I challenge you to 30 days. You deserve to be healthy and happy. Give it a shot. The worst thing that can happen is you don't like it, but you have nothing to lose, right? Everything to gain. So just give it a shot.
She triple dog dares you. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, Kellie. Bye, you guys.